It's time once again to talk dating, and to help us out with that, we have Chattanooga-based dating expert Brock Olson in studio. How are we doing, Brock?
Doing really well, Gino. Thanks for having me in today, sir.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure to have you. We like helping out people, and remember out there, if you are looking for any type of dating advice, relationship advice, if you want us to break down a scenario or anything in that world, Brock is the guy to ask, and you can simply do so by sending an email to me, Gino, Gino, at wdodradio.com, but you can also reach out to Brock on social media, and that's exactly what this follower did here. Reached out for you, also to get kind of input from your followers, because you like to post this stuff on socials. People get to chime in, have a little bit of a conversation, and now we get to do it right here on the radio.
I love it.
So let's get into this one. This is going to be good. It says, "Hey, Brock, I'm a single mother of one and 30 years old. I just put an offer in on my very first house, and this question has been weighing on my mind all week. Is it better to go ahead and buy a house while single and just hope to still find a great guy one day to move in? Or is it better to continue to rent and buy a house with somebody in the future? Are men intimidated by a woman who already owns her own home and has a stable career?" And this was sent in by Anonymous.
All right, Anonymous. Thank you so much for writing this in. You know, this is actually a really, really common submission that I receive. In fact, Gino and I were just talking about this, saying we feel like somebody wrote something in like this maybe a year or so ago, and then he even said that he knows somebody very close to him.
Yeah. My actual roommate now is looking. She lives with me and my girlfriend, my friend, and she's now looking for a house, and she's a single woman in her 30s, and she's thinking about buying her home. She goes, "I want to move on to that next step. I'm ready. I'm willing." And then, of course, but she's like, "Do I wait? What do you do in that situation?"
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a couple different parts here. And what I did do, and Gino did say this, I do post these onto my Facebook so I can let my community kind of weigh in. And the overwhelming majority, especially of women, were saying, get that house. Do not wait for a man to live your life. If you are in a position where you're able to get a house, where you're able to take that next step, go for it. I completely advocate for that. I don't think you should put your life on pause for anybody. And you are a single mom, meaning you have a responsibility to somebody else, just not just yourself.
Right.
So you need to be the best mother, and I hate to say this, but you are also the provider and protector of your family. Like, you are in that role. So you need to be doing whatever is necessary to make sure that your child has the best environment possible. So as single mothers, definitely do whatever you can to make sure that you have security at home. If that means buying a house, so be it. Do whatever it is that you think is necessary to provide that environment for the kids, because kids have to come first. They absolutely do. Now, what was really interesting about this was how a lot of the guys, I did notice, said they don't really care. And if they do, that's not the type of guy that you want. And I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
All the ladies listening right now, if you are afraid to buy a house because you think it's going to intimidate a guy, do it. You do not need to be with a guy that's going to be easily intimidated because you are able to secure the financing to buy a home. That is not the type of guy that you want to be with. You don't need to be watering yourself down. Now, what I am going to say when we come back from the music and commercial break is something that a lot of women make this mistake whenever they do have a home, whenever they are making a lot of money. When we come back, I'm going to talk a little bit about that and how to avoid this common trap. This is something that a lot of the guys said, which was they really don't care. They don't care if you have a house, and if they do, this is going to be a natural filtering process for you. Now, this is what I see happen a lot, where women will say the things that they bring to the table, figuratively, like, these are the things I bring to the table. I've got a good job. I've got a house. I got these things, blah, blah, blah. In the comment section of this post, and I agree with the men generally don't care because that's what they are wanting to be able to bring to the table. So when you bring it, it's not an attractive prospect. I'm not saying it turns them off. It just doesn't have that sizzle that it would from a guy saying that he has these things, that he's on his purpose. He's got his career. He's making good money. He's got a house. He's all these types of things. Like, those are very attractive things for a woman, generally speaking.
Sure.
So when you lead with these types of things, I want you to understand that is not what the type of men that you want to be in a relationship with are going to genuinely value. They're going to value first your femininity, your softness, your sweetness. They want you to be taking care of yourself. They want a truly feminine, confident woman that, yes, is going after things, in her life, and she does have passion for achieving things, but leading with I'm a boss babe on these types of things, that's not going to generally be an attractive mindset for a lot of men, especially the men that you're trying to attract. In fact, that will probably turn a lot of them off, because what men do is they look at it and they wonder, well, what is it that I'm going to be able to do in this environment that makes me valuable? Now, if we talk about the intimidation factor, it's not so much an intimidation thing. It's they don't feel like they have a place in your life if you are doing these things and kind of this I don't need no man type of attitude, because we all know what we're talking what I'm trying to say here. When you lead with this aggressiveness, like I don't need a man, I'm able to take care of myself, that's fantastic. You're adulting, good job. But why are you making it so aggressive? Why are you saying you don't need a man? Because guess what? Men want to be needed. So you are literally phasing yourself out of the dating market. Now, I want you to buy your house. I want you to do well at work. I want you to get the car that you want. But you don't need to lead with this aggressive, I can do it without a man type of attitude. That's just not a very attractive mindset. And men, they're not going to lead with that either. I don't need a woman in my life. Like, that's not an attractive thing to hear. It's like, oh, okay, but we're supposed to complement each other. We're supposed to complement each other. So why are we trying to make it so we don't have the opportunity to actually do that? Now, this is about, the home. I think everybody should be trying to get a home if that's your prerogative. It sounds like, though, you're wondering if you should wait because you might want to do that with a man. That's a completely different topic. And if we're going to jump onto that, listen, you can sell your house at any time, but buy it. Sell it 2 years from now. Mm-hmm. Do that with a guy. Buy another house. This is not the only decision you're going to make on your own. You're going to have a lot of opportunities to make some couple decisions down the road, but in the meantime, make the decisions that are best for you right now.
Right. In other words, don't put pause. No need to put anybody's life on pause for anybody.
Yeah, ever.
And then, of course, if you do have this, you don't have to be ashamed of it, but at the same time, don't go bragging about it. And it really is the delivery. I think that's really what it comes down to. Because you're right. There's an attitude sometimes to it. Well, I have my own house.
Sure.
And then, of course, the guy's going, well, what do you need me for?
Exactly. And like I said, if a guy led by saying, I don't need a woman, I've got, I'm going to do these generalities here.
Yeah.
I got some, I can cook. I can get somebody to cook. I don't need a woman. I can clean. I can do all the things that I'm doing. Like, obviously these are gender things, but if there's not a place for somebody in your life and you're making it abundantly clear that you're not even impressed with the things that they are proud to bring, then they're not gonna stick around. They're not gonna find you attractive. That it's not a place for them to invest in. They are going to find a place that they feel wanted, needed, and desired. Mm-hmm. Men and women both.
Yeah. Looking for that partnership.
Exactly.
Looking for that partner. Thank you, Brock, for the advice. Thank you, Anonymous, for writing in. If you out there have a question that you would like Brock to tackle, send that email. We'll get it on the air. You can also reach out on social media, too. The email, Gino, Gino, at WDODradio.com. You can also follow at the Brock Olson, and it's all linked up to this conversation and all of the conversation that we've had for the last couple of weeks anyway on our website. Check that out at hits96.com. Brock, appreciate the time. Thank you for the advice. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good, Gino. Thank you.